Welcome back to the Coaching with Impact podcast, the go-to podcast for female coaches ready to elevate their online presence and build a lasting impact. I am your host, Fifa Tran, and I am the owner of Faye Modern Creative Studio, helping diverse coaches shine with confidence through an elevated online presence using web design and holistic brand strategy. Each episode of this podcast features candid conversations and interviews with accomplished coaches and subject matter experts in all types of different industries who have totally navigated the challenges and triumphs of entrepreneurship and are ready to share their knowledge with you. So today we have a really, really fantastic guest here. We're diving into a really, really fun topic that a lot of coaches actually struggle with, and not even just coaches, but business owners in general, about like how to build a business without feeling like you need to give up your full-time career. And I just thought this was so important to tap into because especially in today's economy, it's hard to like run a business full time, and sometimes you just don't have that luxury of leaving your job and going full time into your business. So I have a guest here today. Her name is Torriel Harris, and she is a powerhouse career development coach who helps women go from feeling invisible in their careers to landing higher paying roles with confidence. So thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited to tap into this because this is a really, really huge topic, and I'm like so eager to ask you all these questions about like how you are managing everything of like your full-time job on top of managing this business of yours, and like really how did you make that transition, right? So anyway, I would love for you to just talk about your story. Like how did you start this and what made you start to get into it?
Sure. So my story is an interesting one. So I've been in career development for most of my like adult career since like what 2016, something like that. And so I was at this really hot mess of a job. Like it was a hot mess. But the thing is, I lived in New York at the time and I was about to move to California. And so I'm like, I just need a job to rack up my coins so I could save up to move and go. And it was such a hot mess that as soon as I got on the team, there were people already getting ready to leave. Like they were telling me the tea and getting ready to leave. Like it was a mess. So anyway, so I think I started March of 2021, and then come like September is when I was about to leave. And so September, my now best friend, she was also an employment specialist, but like that's just not her zone of genius. She wanted to go into what we call care coordination, which is basically dealing with like human services, people's benefits, things like that, right? That is her bag. That's where she thrives. She should have been there. But the problem was her resume didn't look that great. And so she had applied for it, and the VP was like, listen, first of all, VP should not have been involved because that you're higher than that, miss. But anyway, so she was basically like, no, like she needs to just stay where she is, blah blah blah. So then my best friend made a counter offer to get more money. And she was like, listen, I'm not gonna give her more money. If she wants to get a new job, she can. Matter of fact, let's put her on Tori's list. So she became an employee of the company, became my client to help her find a job.
Oh, wow.
And that is when my business was born.
Okay.
So I wrote her resume, and it was such a different kind of resume than what I had written before. I've always been good at writing, and I've always been good at writing resumes. However, this one was like, as she likes to call this one was on crack. Like this, actually, no, she said my old resumes were crack and this was cocaine. Like,
Love that.
so needless to say, she ended up applying to a job. They interviewed her, and incidentally, my job had gotten other people to help them with recruiting. So she applied for a job that was actually at my job, and it was in the department that she wanted, and she ended up getting that job. Yeah. Yeah. So that goes to show you, if you're not putting your best foot forward and like showing your areas of expertise, no matter where you're trying to get, you're not going to get there. But anyway, so after that, that's when I started to take my business. Well, that's when I started my business. And I was like, well, I could probably do this, for a living. And so I started doing resumes for a while. I was doing a bit of career coaching, but it was more resumes than anything, resumes and interview coaching. And in, well, 2023, yeah, 2023, I got really burnt out. And so I decided to quit in the summer of 2023. And I was like, I'm not going to get a new job. It's fine. Or I'm not going to start my business again. Like, it's fine. I didn't fail. I'm good. And I was content. And so when I started job searching at the top of 2024, um, because I just needed a new job. I hated the job that I was in. And so 2024, around May, I started to interview with a particular job, which I ended up getting. But at the time, I wasn't thinking about my business still. And it wasn't until I started in July that I was kind of like, ooh, I kind of want to start my business again, just sans resumes. And so I started up again, and I was very transparent with them, like, hey, listen, I know in the interview you would ask me, do I want to still do business? I said no. I changed my mind. And so, I just had to sign an NDA and like all of that stuff so that it was like non-compete. And then I started my business back up again. And it has been quite an adventure, because then I started in July. Come November, I got laid off.
Wow.
And so it was at no fault of my own. The company, we had contracts, like we have contracts with different places. And this one organization we had a contract with, that was 50% of my pay. And so they reneged on the contract. And so I was just kind of short of luck. So that is actually what forced me to become a full-time business owner, because I was like, you know what? Let me just try it. Let me see what I can do by myself. And so it's been a very trying, let's see, December, January, February. It's been a trying 3 months, but it's been good. I like it.
That's amazing. Wow. Like sometimes life just throws you into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like me also. Like I mean, I wasn't planning to do it full time. Like the goal was to go full time in my business.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
just was trying to figure things out on the side while I was working. But yeah, when I got laid off, it just, yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take this chance on myself and see
Mm-hmm.
what happens from there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, so good for you for trying to, just going right into it because it's tough. Like, being able to manage your business but also your full-time job, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of time management and also
Mm-hmm.
a lot of jobs actually don't allow you to have a business at the same time. Like, I mean, I feel like nowadays maybe it's changing where side hustles are it's normal now.
Right. Right.
But it must have been like I'm glad they at least you were transparent about it and they did.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing about it too, right? I think if you
Yeah.
keep it on a hush and you're not really like disclosing,
Mhm.
that's when they start to feel like, oh, you're being secretive. You know what I mean? And not to say that's every situation, because some jobs are just trash. That, like, they just are. But for the most part, the jobs that I've had when I've been doing my business, they've been very understanding as long as I'm communicative about what's going
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Because that's the thing. Not many people would want to really mention it either.
on.
But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's so I guess would you just say like, I guess depending on the type of job, you would kind of gauge and see
It
before
depends on the job. It depends on the person too. I consider myself, and I think only like millennials or like very late Gen Zers will understand this reference, but I'm very much the Tommy Pickles of my friends. Like, I am the brave baby with the screwdriver in my diaper. Like, I don't care what people think. I don't care what people have to say. As you can see, right, I'm very like bold, and that's just. And as I've gotten older, I'm gonna be 37 this month. We're recording this February. Next month, in March, I'm gonna be 37, and as I'm approaching like my older age, I don't care. I don't care. You're gonna get whatever I'm telling you. And if you don't like it, we can chat about it, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I've just been very communicative in general, just to be transparent. But there are some people who are a little bit more timid or a little bit more introverted, and they don't really want to, let people know things, or maybe they're nervous or scared because they feel like their job might judge them, or feel like, maybe they're not as dedicated and things like that. But the thing about it is, you have to really think, what value could you bring, or could you use as transferable for your job? So, like, for example, if you're doing like something with project management, or something where you have multiple pieces that you're juggling, and then you have your business where you're also juggling multiple pieces, well, you can utilize the skills that you're learning in your business and also use it for the job, and vice versa. And so that's why I never left career development, because I always wanted to utilize the skills that I was learning as a career coach, for other people, into my business, and then vice versa, because the things that I was getting in my one-on-ones and my group calls and things like that in my business weren't the same type of things that I was experiencing at work. And so I would use the skills and the way that I navigated calls and stuff like that as and from my business to my job, and vice versa. So it just became this very flowing kind of situation for me. And here's the thing, not everyone's going to have a job that matches like what they do, right? Like if you're, I don't know, let's say you're a professor at a college or something like that, and you want to go into knitting. All right, well, it's very different. It's very different, right? But instead of thinking about the actual process of what you're doing, which is knitting, you're thinking about all the other components that go into being a business owner. So your client management, your
Mhm.
people skills, your juggling different projects, your time management, your productivity, all of those different type of things. Think about how those transfer. It's just like if you were to go from one field to another in employment, right? You have to think about your transferable skills and the things that make you a valuable employee. So you're just doing the same thing, except it's just for your business. I know
Yeah.
we totally went somewhere else, but
No, honestly, I think it's totally relevant because that's the thing, right? Entrepreneurship, it forces you to develop a set of skills that you would not learn from your job. It teaches you how to be resourceful. It teaches you
mhm,
how to be a risk taker as well, and like all these
mhm,
skills. And that's also what made me really want to get into entrepreneurship, is because I wasn't learning that from my current job at the time. And
mhm.
so that's why I'm really a huge advocate of entrepreneurship, even if it's not full time that you're doing this, at least building something outside of, something that you're at your job right now. It's a life skill. It's something that is totally, like you said, transferable and totally applicable to any part of your life. And yeah, I think it's totally relevant based on, you know, everything that we're talking about right now. And
Yeah, and pro tip, if let's say you own a business and you're going for a new job,
mhm.
put that you're a consultant. Put
Mm,
consultancy. And then that way you can still utilize the skills that you have from the your business, and use it to say, whatever you wanted to say for your resume and interview
oh, I
skills.
love that.
Mm.
Okay, there's a pro tip right there. I love that. I never even thought about putting consultant. Yeah, because like, honestly, I there have been so many times where I have been tempted also to go back into a full-time job, or even just
Mhm.
on a part-time job. But like it's the reality of it is that it is very, very tough right now in today's economy to
Yep.
have, especially if you're living in really expensive cities like Toronto or in LA or whatnot. It's really expensive if you don't have a partner that's helping you, and if you're not like, your business hasn't really fully bloomed into, a business that you're making consistent income with, which takes years,
Mhm.
to be honest.
Mhm.
And that's the reality of it. So, and a lot of people, especially like me at the beginning, I felt like when I wanted to be an entrepreneur, I had to do it full time. And this is also a myth that it started to become normal now for people to have a side hustle while having a job. So for those who feel like they have to leave their 9 to 5 to be a real entrepreneur, like people say,
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to do that. So, and you've clearly shown that you could love both. You can be an entrepreneur and you could have a job. So while you were doing that and trying to balance your full-time career with having your coaching business, like how did you manage the two without burning out?
So I would say the number one thing is to be in alignment. And that's exactly why I got burnt out in 2023 because I wasn't aligned. I hated doing resumes. I did it for my day job and then I had to do it for my business. And I felt like that was the only way. And I didn't know what else I could do. Like it just felt very impossible. And so it burnt me out. This time around, when I was working full time and had my business, because I was doing the things that I actually wanted to do and not thought, oh, I have to do this because this is the only option, I was able to have a better time doing it because I enjoyed what I did. And not only that, but I was utilizing a lot of what I was learning at the job I was at to help me with what I'm doing now. Like at the job I was at, I was doing more of the curriculum based stuff. Now, that's exactly what I'm doing for my business. I'm creating templates and different workbooks and different workshops and things like that. And it's not that I didn't do that before, but it thrusted me into that in my last job. And so now I know how to navigate with AI better and know how to, utilize different things. So it's all about alignment, right? And like I said, even if your business is something very different from what your day job is, it's okay. You just have to find that thread that connects your job to your business so that you can always think about the bigger picture. And at the end of the day, you should always be thinking about the bigger picture, right? If you know that, well, to be honest, until you go out on your own as an entrepreneur, you're not going to know how hard it is. But you
Yes.
can have an inkling, right? And so if you enjoy that paycheck every 2 weeks, if you enjoy the guaranteed pay, I would say stay where you are. Stay where you are until your business, excuse me, is launched enough to the point where you can branch out on your own and not feel that weight of the financial part. Because that's really what does a lot of entrepreneurs in. It's doing me in right now. I'm gonna be completely transparent. Like it's very difficult. I'm on unemployment right now, and that's keeping me okay. I'm not
Hmm.
above water, but I'm like right here, right?
Yeah.
So it's definitely something that if I didn't need to leave, I wouldn't have. And once I start seeing the job market get a little bit better, I might still look for a new job. And there's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't mean I'm a quitter or a failure or anything like that. That just means I'm trying to make a means to an end. And that's the thing about it. If you are not in a situation where you know you're going to be financially okay, just chill out. Chill out. It's going to pop off, but just stay where you are until you're ready. And you got to check in with yourself, right? Get that gut check. If you're about to, because once you turn in that resignation, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. It's very hard to go backwards sometimes. So I would say listen to yourself, listen to your surroundings, listen to your wallet. And if everything's a go, no problem. But if it's not, chill out. You're okay. You're still a real entrepreneur. You're still a business owner. That is still your business. That is still the thing you're running. All of it is still yours. But you also have a job.
Hmm. Yeah, I really like that you mentioned that, especially like just being okay with, like, and really assessing the situation too about like where you're at and realistically what makes sense for you. Because I'm not gonna lie, when I got laid off, like I also ended up getting unemployment, and that really helped me to continue to build my business and still have this like some sort of income that was coming in, week after week or month after month, right? So that is something that really, really helped me to really kickstart my business without having to deal with the financial stress,
Mm-hmm.
especially at the time that I left my job, or like I got fired from my job. I changed cities and I moved completely. So that was a huge financial strain. And I did feel the pressure of not, like when the unemployment started to like finish and like,
Mm-hmm.
like the money started to like slowly disappear, I guess you could say. Yeah, I started to feel the pressure, and not gonna lie, I wouldn't be able to sustain my business if it weren't for my boyfriend. Like, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be transparent about that too, because if it weren't for him, there's no way I could have been doing it full time. And
Yeah,
that's
and
the reality.
it's hard. It's hard, and I think that too many people go based off what they see on social media. That
Yes.
is not real, boo. It's not. They're only posting what they want you to see. You know, during the pandemic, right? I think
Mhm.
everyone was like, quit your job, use the money, start an LLC, and do a podcast, and like all of these things. And there's just too many people with mics these days, too many people with businesses that maybe, let's be real, maybe they shouldn't have a business. Maybe they should do consulting. Maybe they should take their talents and put it into working full time. Right.
Mhm.
I think that there's just too many people who go based on what others say, what others think, and then just launch into it. And listen, it's okay to experiment. I,
Yeah.
I think it's perfectly okay. But the reality is, it's difficult.
Oh
It
yeah.
is. And too many people, you see it all the time where these TikTokers and all this stuff, they end up getting a regular job again because they fell into the hype, started their business, started their content creation, started doing all the cute little dances or whatever, and now they're back flipping burgers. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But what I'm saying is, don't fall into the hype. Don't think just because you're sick of your job, I should start a business and da da da. You can, but are you ready for that?
Yeah. Are you
That's
are you
it.
ready to work more hours?
Because listen, the amount of sleep I don't get is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Because what am I doing late at night at 3 in the morning? I'm thinking about my business.
That's
Then
the
I get up at 6 o'clock. I'm doing my business. At the end of the day, I'm still thinking about my business. This is a lot. And I used to work with entrepreneurs very early in my career when I first started a nonprofit back in 2014. And I said to myself, I will never be a business owner. This is difficult. It's very ironic that I'm here today as a business owner because it's freaking difficult. It's freaking difficult. And if I didn't feel that calling, that pull from God, that knowing that when I do get these clients and I'm helping them and I'm helping them work through their career stagnation and they call me and they're like, listen, I got the job and like all of these things, like I wouldn't do this. Like the fact that 53% of my clients were able to get a new job within 3 months, freaking dope, freaking dope. And I love that for them. And the fact that it constantly helps them, that's why I do what I do. Because otherwise, forget this, forget it.
No, I love that you're doing that. I love that you know the two different sides of it. The full time going into it and even having a job and having your business at the same time. It's really something that, you can help your clients with no matter what they're going through. But I love that you have that and you've been able to balance the two and still, being able to be where you are today. So like what would be like one piece of advice that, let's say, that you'd give to coaches who would feel guilty about like just being able to, they want to leave their career, but then like, they feel guilty about loving both of it, and but then they just so they're afraid, but they also want to like step out. Like what is it that what is one piece of advice that you'd give them to just like be
Yeah,
okay?
that's a good question.
Yeah.
Um, I would say be okay with loving both.
Mm,
Just be okay with it. Accept it. It's you. Like, who's to tell you what to do, what not to do, what to love, what not to love? Like, no
yeah.
one can tell you that. Only you can decide. So be okay with it. You're okay with getting the job that you got. You're okay with getting the business that you have. Be okay with doing both. That's it. Accept it. Accept yourself. If you can't, then you got to check in. What are you really doing? Who are
Mm.
you trying to please? Because it's the people pleasing that gets us in trouble. So
Yeah.
who exactly are you trying to please and why? Get down to the root of it, right? I forgot where I heard it, but you always want to ask yourself, especially in business, why? Ask yourself 7 times why. I want to do this. Why? Because I like that. Why? Because this, because that. Keep asking yourself why. Really get down to the root of it. And once you can get down to the root of it, that's when you can say, okay, this is why this is happening. And this is how I can overcome this. Because that sounds like a mindset thing. That's not a anybody else thing. Nobody can tell you what to do. You're grown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you have to be able to just be okay with your choices. And if you're not okay with it, make different choices.
Mm, yeah. Honestly, it's just that. At the end of the day, what you mentioned about people pleasing, it's a real thing. And
Mm-hmm.
and it's yeah, like it doesn't matter what people think of it. If you are flipping burgers and it makes you happy, but this helps you sustain your business and you're building something on the side for yourself and you just need to make ends meet, it's fine.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's honestly, I wish I had told myself that back then too. Like, I will admit I felt like I had a lot of pressure either to choose one or the other. And I felt like a failure when and I would feel like a failure if I were to quit and go back to a full-time job. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what a lot of entrepreneurs feel.
Yeah, that's arrogance.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
arrogance and pride. And
Mm,
that will be the downfall. Don't let yourself get in your own way. If you have to take a new job, take the job. That's it. I'm like this close to starting to look again, but I'm not there yet, so I haven't. But it's not pride that's stopping me. It's the feeling of I'm almost there. I've almost got it. Like I'm almost at that breakthrough. That's the only reason I haven't started looking again. But there is no pride here. There is no arrogance here. At the end of the day, money.
yeah.
Money is important. And it's not important to me because I want to be filthy rich. And no, I need to pay my bills. I need to live. I need to eat.
Yeah. That's reality.
That's it. And if you allow your arrogance to get in the way of your own well being, you have to really take a look in the mirror and figure out what's going on and why you feel that way. What is this elitistness that is driving you to that when you don't live an elitist life? Bring yourself down a few pegs because listen, there's nothing wrong with it. You're not a failure. You're not a failure. You're still building. And
Hmm.
even if you say, you know what, this is too much, I quit, you still did more than what others would ever accomplish. So it's not a fail, it's a lesson learned. And like me, I did quit. I quit my business. I was done. But something pulled me back. And this time around, I'm doing things differently and better because I have the understanding of what to do now. I learned from it. Every lesson that we learn in life, we have to take from, or else it was a waste of time. Time is one thing you can never get back, it's finite.
Yeah.
You can make money back. You can never get back not a second, not a minute, not an hour, nothing. And so you need to really think about how am I utilizing my time? How am I utilizing the time I have on this earth? And if the time that you're using is no longer fulfilling you, if it's no longer sustaining you, if it's not doing the things that you needed to do, you got to change it up. You got to do something else. What did Einstein or whoever say? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again. Don't be insane.
Yeah.
Don't be delulu. People say that is good. I am an older millennial and I think being delulu is stupid, personally. Why do I want to be delusional? No, I don't. I don't. I want to be real with myself. You can have big dreams and still be real.
Mm.
So be real with yourself.
Yeah, definitely. And so many people are so caught up in their comfort zones and then like the routine of it all. Like you got to go out there and experiment and just do what feels right for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's important. And if you're too busy thinking about what the next person is doing and what they're doing, think about if they're worried about you.
Hmm.
Do they know you?
It's true.
Like I hate to be that one, but do you matter to them?
We don't have to like think about every single person on this earth.
No. No. And especially when it comes down to survival, you
Yeah,
have to survive.
exactly.
And that's what this is about. If you cannot sustain your business, that's not a problem.
Mm.
That just means you got to do something else in addition to until you can sort out whatever is stopping you from getting to that next level. And that's how I've been looking at my business the last few months. This is all about experimentation. I am experimenting right now. And if the experiment doesn't work, it's okay. I didn't fail. That just means I haven't found the path for me just yet. But until you get in that mindset, you keep your job, boo. Keep your job.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're 100% correct. And honestly, if you feel like your current job as well is just not serving you and you don't know where to go, that's where you come in, right? That's where you help people.
Talk to me. I
Yeah,
got
exactly.
you. And this is how I describe my personality. I am the realest cheerleader. I'm
I,
gonna cheer you on for sure. But that Delulu stuff, we gonna bring you down a few pegs, and we gonna talk about how we gonna do this for real. You know what I'm saying? I work with women. I only work with women. I don't mind men. I love men. My boyfriend's a man. I love him. But men can sometimes be very arrogant when it comes to career stuff, and I just don't have time for it. And women sometimes, especially for us, we like to shrink down. We like
yes.
to shrink down. We like to humble ourselves. And it's like, girl, the amazing thing you're freaking dope. The stuff that you've accomplished, the stuff that you've brought to your company, the stuff that you brought to your business, can't nobody do that but you. So
It's
if you are feeling like you don't know what to do, where to go, come to me. I got you. Come to Tori. Thank
I love your personality. Your energy is so like I love it. It's so captivating.
you. Thank you. I'm a big goof. I'm a
I
big goof.
love that though. But that's why we connected, right? It's like I felt
Yes.
that energy from you.
Yes.
But I love that you help your clients through all these things. Like, what is that the number one thing that they usually come to you for? Like, or they have that, what is that like number one challenge that you usually always help them with first?
Clarity. A lot
Mm.
of them feel stuck, right? Feel unseen, feel like they don't know what to do next. And so, with a lot of my clients, what I do is I work them through three different phases: clarity, communication, commitment. And the reason why clarity comes first is because so often we take jobs and we're doing things that we do just because we're good at it. But do you like it? Do you like your job? Do you like your business? I'm not a business coach. Do not come to me for that. I cannot help you. I'm trying to help myself. But the point is, do you like it? Are you actually good at it? Right? There's different zones, right? There's zone of incompetence, and then there's three other ones, and then zone of genius. Zone of genius is where you need to be in order to thrive. And so that has to do with your strengths, your likes, your wants, your needs. This is why the first activity I do with my clients is called I Need, I Bring. And so I need is what do you need in a job? And it's not just I need a remote job or I need someone who doesn't micromanage. All of those things are cool, they're necessary. But what do you need in a role that will make you survive, that'll make you thrive? For
Mm.
me, if I were to go back to work, I'm looking for something where I am facilitating. I am clearly someone who likes to speak, right? So I need to be facilitating, I need to be teaching, I need to be helping people work through their issues. That is something I need in a role, or else I can't work there. So, what is it that you need? What do you need in order to thrive in your job, right? And then what do I bring? That's that's the proof. That's your proof is in the pudding, right? So you have to be able to show If I'm saying I need to facilitate, well, it's because I bring 8+ years of facilitation.
Mm.
That's it. That's my proof, right? So you're matching up what your non-negotiables are with what strengths, what skills do you bring to a role to show that this is why these are non-negotiable. And I do that as a beginning with all of my clients because you have to know those things. You
Mhm.
have to. Because if whether you're looking to go from your role or grow in your role, you need to know what you're good at. You need to know what you like. Because otherwise you're going to keep doing the same things again and again and you're still going to feel the same feeling of stuck. You're going to feel, discouraged. You're going to feel demotivated, right? All of these terrible emotions. So I do that, and then after we get that clarity piece, now we got to make sure the right people know about it. If you're telling me, that's cool. I'm glad you can tell me, but I can't get you that raise. I
Mm.
can't get you the project you want to work on. I can't get you the new job. There's nothing I can do. So we have to make sure you're telling the right people in the right places. And even for my introverted booze, you still got to be able to speak. That's the thing. Women, we feel like our work will speak for ourselves. And then here comes a mediocre white man who is just like, listen, I've done this and this and this and this and this, and give the whole laundry list. And even though they do it mediocrily, I know that's not a word, but we're going to go for it, they still get the job because they were upfront with what they do.
Mm.
They clearly mention how it is they were able to accomplish whatever it was they were able to accomplish. And that proof, that saying this is what I done and this is how it impacted them, that's what gets the job. Yes, your work can sometimes speak for itself, absolutely. But in more cases than not, you have to speak up. You have to advocate for yourself.
Yeah.
Or else what are you gonna do? So that's the second piece. And then the third piece is sustainability. Well, commitment, sustainability, which is motivation is not going to sustain you, right? People say, oh, I'm so motivated to get a new job. Da, da, da. Think about the gyms. Think about December 31st. Everybody in a turtle signs up for a gym membership, right? Look at the gyms this time this year. How many people's there? You're going to see tumbleweed and maybe 5 members that had been there at that same gym. Why? Because motivation isn't enough. Life be lifing. So when life gets in the way, your family, your friends, your responsibilities, your sickness and health and da 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 da, when all of that gets in the way, motivation goes bye bye. It flutters away. And then all you're left with is feeling discouraged, feeling this and that. So I make sure that my clients have a 90-day sustainability plan so that, and here's the thing, right? Some people say, oh, do a year, do 5 years, do 3 years. I don't believe in that because time changes very quickly, right? We all thought Kamala was going to win, and now we got the orange man. And that changed in a matter of seconds. In a matter of seconds, we were like, wait, what? What happened here, right? So my point is life changes very quickly. So it's better to do 90-day increments and then you can check on your goals every month to see how they're coming into effect. Are you speaking to the right people? Are you in the right spaces? Are you in the right rooms? Are you doing the things you have to do? And if not, you're checking monthly to see, is this in alignment with my 90-day plan? And if it's not, then I like to introduce the exercise called do, defer, delegate, delete, right? Do is what is it that I'm doing that needs to be done? So like for example, um projects at work. They have to be done, right? You don't want to get fired. So they have to be done. But let's say, right, for your business, you are like, well, like how you were saying, right? You were like, oh, I'm no longer editing these things. I don't want to do it no more. Then you delegate it. All right, you said here you can have that, and I'll be over here in my zone of genius. Right, that's delegation. If you want to defer, that simply means okay, it is now February. I have until June to do this. Let me defer this until mid-April, and then get back to it. But that's the important part. You got to get back to it, right? Because then, come June, you're going to be scrambling like, oh crap, I didn't do anything. So you're deferring. And then delete is literally deleting. If it has no purpose, if it serves no purpose, if it's not doing much, if it's not moving any needles, if it's not moving any goalposts, delete it. Get rid of it. That's what I did last year for social media. I realized it was doing nothing for me. I was on Instagram wasting time. So I deleted it from my life. I maybe get on Instagram once every month, every other month, and maybe for like 2 minutes. Like it's literally not long at all. Like the only reason I have the app is because my best friend refuses to not send me stuff. Like, and even then, she can't send it to me on the app because she knows I'm not gonna look. She has to text message it to me, and then that's the only way I check. So I keep it because of that. But like TikTok, completely deleted. Facebook, I only have it for business groups. LinkedIn, that's actually the social media I use. But like other than that, mm-mm, I deleted it. I deleted it from my life. I don't need it. It does nothing for me. Watching a bunch of celebrities do their celebrity shenanigans, that's not adding money to my pockets. So yeah, so that's what I do with my clients. And I have a 12-week program that we do that in, again, 90-day increments. And that is I have a couple different things going on. So I have the group program called Command Room Sis. And then I also have my monthly membership called She Will Be Heard. And that's all about the second stage, which is communication, visibility, right? How to get more professionally visible. And I just launched that. So right now I'm doing, I mean, at least as of this recording, I'm doing $7 for the first month and then either 27 for the light membership or 47 for the pro. And I mean, I'm biased, but I think they're really good.
I love the names you came up for it.
I think, yeah, I do too. I'm a very bold person, but I'm not your average coach. I hate
Mm,
coach speak. I hate, and the transformation is all about, no, throw it away. Throw it away. If you're like that, no problem. I'm just not like you. I'm just not. I refuse. You're not going to get that from me if I'm ever your coach. I'm not going to say these jargony words that mean absolutely nothing. As a matter of fact, when my clients come to me with their resume and their resume speaks like this, I tell them straight up, this is fluff. You're not saying anything here. What is this? What I orchestrated and streamlined the processes by 50%. What are you saying?
yeah, it's like not
What
you.
what are you saying? And so, yeah.
The fluff.
Cut the fluff. We don't need it. Nobody needs it. It serves you no purpose. So that's
Yeah.
the type of coach I am too. I don't believe in that.
Oh, I love that. But that's what makes you stand out, right? Everybody has their own unique way of like unique energy and the way that they run things. So, I mean, you show up the way that you are and you're going to attract the right types of people to you and the right types of energy. So, and that's
Mm-hmm.
what I like about you is you're bold, you're funny, but you really tell it what it is. And yeah, you're not afraid to like just share your thoughts and how you feel about certain things.
Yeah, I've always been this way. It gotten me in trouble a lot. I'll tell you that. My mom hates it.
You just got to be you. That's it.
That's it. That's it. Not everyone can be like me though. And that's the thing. Like I think I had to realize that a few years ago that not everyone is like me. If it wasn't for my best friend, the one that kicked this whole thing off, I don't think I would really quite understand that because she and I are very much alike, but she's also very different in the fact that, she grew up in a Caribbean household and women in Caribbean households a lot of times are very repressed, right? They're told a lot of different things and I'm not like that. I'm very much American and I speak my mind and so I'm very thankful for her because it helps me even with my clients like to understand just the different perspectives there are and the different personality types and things like that, and it helps me to work with those different personality types because sometimes people who are a little bit more timid or a little bit more quiet and introvert, they're scared when it comes to me, and I get it. I get it. I'm a lot of person. I'm a lot, but I'm enough for the right people. So
That's it. That's it. You just got to put yourself out there, and then you
Mm-hmm.
will attract the right energy. And
Exactly.
yeah. So that's what I like about you. And I love, like, this was a really like fun conversation, and the way that you told your stories and how you do things for your clients, it's incredible. And I
Thank
love the
you.
program that you have, like, that's coming up. Is that like that the most exciting thing that you have coming up right now, or do you have anything else that you want to
Yeah.
share?
Yeah, no, it's really just those two. A lot of business owners, we get distracted.
Mm,
We get the
yes.
shiny
Oh
object syndrome
gosh.
and we want to create everything for everything. And I had to stop myself. So those are the two that I'm working on. My main membership, Command the Room Sis,
Okay.
which is a group program, and then She Will Be Heard, the membership. So
Okay.
for now, until those two like get really popping, those
Mhm.
are my focus.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so definitely check that out. We're going to have those links in the show notes. So definitely just, if you want to talk to Tori, go ahead. Like, she's here. And, you said you're not on Instagram much. So you said LinkedIn was your place, or?
LinkedIn. Yeah,
Okay.
LinkedIn. You can find me on Facebook. I'm
Okay.
not guaranteeing I'll accept your friend request because I friend requests sit a while in there because I'm just there for the business group. So LinkedIn.
Okay, so LinkedIn is the number one place you can find Tori. Make sure to link her up if you need anything in terms of your figuring out what your career would want to be, or like even if you just need something else apart from your business and you want to sustain yourself but not have too much that's draining you in the wrong type of environment, the wrong type of job, talk to Tori.
Yeah. But don't come to me about business. I can't help you. I
Yeah,
I cannot help you.
you can share some insights, but yeah, I mean, you're living proof right now of doing both. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, I appreciate this insightful conversation. Like, you shared so many great tips, and you really opened up a lot of. I'm sure like people in the audience are going to be like, feeling okay about having both a job and having a business at the same time. And you proved that you can build a business while doing it. You just got to manage your energy better. You just got to, be able to know what is the right environment for you, and if it's right for you to even like stay in that place, or if you got to find something else, right?
Exactly, exactly. Oh,
Yeah.
and one of the things, because through this conversation, I've been thinking about what can I share with your audience. And
Mhm.
so one of the things that I realized I can share is stop playing and use your PTO. So that's what I call it. It's my guide on how to effectively and strategically use your PTO. And so if you are working at the same time as running your business and you've been scared to use your PTO to like focus on your business, stuff like that, I got you. This guide will help you. And it also has some templates on like what you can say in emails, how to prepare your team and everything. So
Oh,
I'm gonna provide that for you, FIFA.
oh, amazing. Okay, so yeah, I will be linking all of those links along with your LinkedIn as well, so that people can find you. And yeah, I appreciate your time today. Like, thank you again for sharing your wisdom with us. Like, I now I'm not feeling so bad if I have to go back and get another job, or even just like a part-time job, even if it's not full
Mm-hmm.
time. And yeah, if you have to do it, just do it. Who cares what
Just
people
do
think? You
it.
gotta pay the bills, man.
Live.
You gotta live.
That's live.
Yeah, live. And
Thank
honestly,
you.
yeah, just you can pick up on a lot of skills from your job, right? So
Exactly. Exactly. Well,
transferable.
thank you so much for having me. It's been great.
Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. And yeah, as always, if you enjoyed this episode and you found some value in it, or you have a question, send us a voice note. And if it would mean the world to us if you leave us a review if you really like this episode. But yeah, share your love and support. We're always eager to hear your feedback. And until next time.